This is the General Assembly going on right behind me. Today is day 11 of Occupy Los Angeles, and you're watching Inside Out News.
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. Fighting for our children. Fighting for our children. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water.
We'd like to start off today's broadcast by giving a special thank you to Matthew Michaud. Matthew Michaud was kind enough to replace our light box, which went missing yesterday and prevented us from doing our broadcast. If it weren't for Matthew Michaud's amazing donation, we would not be here today. So thank you, Matthew, for what you've done. We owe you a great deal of gratitude. Today was a slightly uneventful day at Occupy Los Angeles. The speaker series continued through today with Joshua and Rebecca Teichel, the makers of the documentary The Fix, a film about the Deepwater Horizon explosion that happened back in April of 2010 in the Gulf of Mexico. Tom Hayden was also here. He toured the encampment here at City Hall and gave a quote to the OccupyLosAngeles.org website. In his quote, he said that he did not know if this was a tremor or a quake, but that the media should let the baby out of the delivery room. He said, "Get out of the delivery room. There's too many pseudoscientists trying to name it and make predictions."
Where is the money?
Police cooperation has been good here at City Hall. In fact, the organizers called on the police to deal with a disgruntled member of the community. I was told by some of the people who were observing the arrest that he was a veteran of the Vietnam War and that he had been trying to start fights with some of the protesters. So they asked for police support to handle the situation, and the police handcuffed him and took him into custody. Unfortunately, this type of cooperation between organizers, protesters, and the police has not been the same across the country. In the early morning, the occupiers in Boston were arrested by police. The AP reported that 141 members of the occupation in Boston were taken into custody for trespassing and unlawful assembly. The occupiers of Boston have reported that some of the protesters were beaten by the police and that the police officers came after the protesters with batons, that they had beaten veterans of wars who had taken the first line of defense across the occupiers in a way to protect them from the police. They reported through their website and through Twitter that some of the protesters were even sent to the local hospital for treatment. In other areas, such as Dallas and Seattle, there have been threats of arrests as well. In Seattle, the mayor of the city was able to buy the protesters another 24 hours last night to prevent arrests from happening. In Dallas, it seems that the protesters are trying to secure a permit to be in the park there. However, the City Hall is insisting that the protesters have a $1 million insurance on them. The protesters have said on their website that they do not have $1 million and have essentially given up on trying to secure a permit and instead are defending their position by saying that they have a right to be there because it is their First Amendment right to assemble in the public park. We were able to find a video from Boston that seems to show that the police officers instigated the attacks against the protesters in Boston. that there is power in numbers. I asked the protesters about this saying, and if this saying is true, then why is it that only the 1%, as the protesters have claimed, control all of the power, the political power, and wealth in this country? Here's what some of them had to say.
That's why a lot of people are protesting, right? That things have, really gotten out of balance, and I think people are starting to want to come out and really, register that they disagree with the way things have moved in the last bit, and the degree to which a very small slice of the population has power and influence is really unsupportable, I hope.
The rich get richer, but I mean, it's just the confluence of just wealth and power and controlled by few hands. It's when they buy out government, I mean, it's pretty much bought out. There's no argument against that here. I mean, if anything, we already acknowledge that that's already going on, and we're late to that party that, the class warfare going on, and we want to change that. We really do.
I was just analyzing that earlier about the scenario, is that realizing what's going on in this society. Of course, the 1% has the leverage in this society because they're the ones with the power. It's obviously a smaller, minute number, and I noticed over the time we're here in a decent, pretty majority. But in comparison to, are we making that dent in our society? I don't see that. I think there needs to be more organization, and I think we need to organize better. We need to create contingents here and start addressing the needs of what this 1% has been doing in Wall Street for all these years.
October 15th is the International Day of Action. The protesters here have secured a permit to march from City Hall to the Financial District. We will have more information on the event as the days grow nearer. This ends our report for tonight. This is Margot Paez signing off for Inside Out News. I will see you tomorrow, and good night.